All right, welcome back to Thoughts in Stereo. This is episode 19. I'm Bijan Amir.
I'm Nick Henriquez.
And today we have on a very promising up-and-coming producer. His name is FORTHENIGHT. FORTHENIGHT, give us a little bit of an introduction as to who you are, what you do, and why'd you call yourself FORTHENIGHT? After that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I was born in Toronto, moved to Brampton. I started producing when I was about 15 or so, and ever since, man, I just love music. Been doing music for a while now. Before I used to make a lot of dark music, Were
you like a sad boy, like Super Sad Boys 2015 or something? Or?
In a way, yeah. I was really trapped in like the dark zone or whatever. So I started making a lot of dark music, and after I went on to I met my boy Lloyd Quest. He's from Brampton too, and he actually really got me into like R&B, like dance, reggae, and all that stuff. And then that's when I started to expand my horizon, and yeah, that's what I started to do.
Okay.
And yeah.
And so, why FORTHENIGHT?
Why FORTHENIGHT? Honestly, I don't like making happy music.
You like making music for the night.
I like music. I make music for the nighttime. That's why the whole entire name is FORTHENIGHT. It's not for the night, but it's like music for the nighttime.
There you have it, folks. One of Canada's greatest mysteries solved right here, live on Thoughts in Stereo.
You heard it here first.
We've worked together before.
Yes.
You work with a lot of people from Toronto.
Yes,
up and coming, established.
Yep.
But I think, would you agree when I say that you're mostly known for your sample packs, your melody packs?
Yes, a lot of people say that all the time. I do make beats, obviously, and I've been making beats for my whole entire experience of making music. But sample packs is like the thing that everyone refers to me as, like, oh my gosh, for the night, his packs, his sample packs, this, that. And yeah.
I was just telling Nick before, off camera in our private conversations, that no, because Nick works a lot in dance music.
Yeah.
And our guest that we had on last episode, T, he works a lot in pop and dance music. Yeah. And sample packs are a very hip hop thing.
Yeah.
Like sending out melodies. And so T, he's a multi-instrumentalist, and he does sound design, but he was so he had no clue about the whole sending melody sample pack kind of game.
Yeah. He's very in the pop world, and it's very session based, and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be with the artist, and after exactly. Yeah.
So what is your experience in sending out? How did you get started in that? First of all, do you have a background in music?
No background at all.
So
I don't know how to play piano. I don't know how to do anything.
But you still have come to into your own in terms of sending melodies, even though you've never had any classical training.
Yeah, exactly. I trained my ear a lot. I've been listening to music literally all my life. So sometimes I just used to go on a piano and just play random stuff and just stuck in my ear. So I just know what scales I'm in at certain times. So it's I'm just playing chords and stuff. I can never. It just whatever sounds good.
And do you, when you do it, do you use your MIDI or do you click?
So how my process is basically, I can't play a full chord progression. So at times what I'll do is basically I'll play a chord, lock it in, play a chord, lock it in, and then after, just for the top notes, I'll just play whatever and just lock it in.
Gotcha.
So that's how I usually do it. Yeah.
So pieces of a puzzle coming together.
Yeah, basically pieces of a puzzle. Whatever sounds good, and if it doesn't sound good, then yeah,
scrap it. Yeah.
How many? So when you started selling your packs, because you've done packs with Kingsway.
Yeah, Kingsway, myself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
When you first started, how did you build up your name in terms of I have to get that FORTHENIGHT pack? How did you market yourself? How'd you get the name out there?
So how it worked was, I was always big on having my own sound, always big on that. I never wanted to sound like anyone else, never wanted to be like anyone else, just wanted to be myself. So a lot of the times was I built my brand off of my sound. So a lot of people, when they heard my sound, they was like, oh my gosh, this is a FORTHENIGHT sample, whatever. So, over time, it was just building my own sound. That's why people really recognized me. That's why I built out that's why basically people were able to know it was me. And yeah.
So what do you classify as your sound?
My sound, mysterious. I'm not going to say
whimsical. For the night.
Mysterious, spooky. Not all the time spooky, because I do make everything. just very like mysterious, very mysterious, airy sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
So say you were going to work with somebody like Nick who doesn't really do, say, hip hop a lot, and he does more dance,
Pop stuff.
How would you change your, like,
do you cater
Yeah.
when you're sending to certain, if you know you're sending to a certain producer,
Yeah.
like if you're sending stuff to Bijan, it's gonna be different than if you're sending stuff to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you
definitely,
usually cater packs like that? Like,
Yeah, definitely. So if I do public packs and I do exclusive packs too, right? A lot of people know they just think I just do exclusive packs. Public packs. But a lot of times, if I'm working with, I don't know, Wonder Girl or whatever, I'm gonna send her some weird ass melodies. I wouldn't send Bijan the same exact melodies because you'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So depending on who it is, cater to the genre. If it's R&B, pop, trap, so yeah, just go about that. Yeah.
What's the process to getting a Kingsway music pack?
The process. So
Like, how did you get in contact with that team?
My process was very interesting.
oh boy.
So basically how it started was I've been releasing packs for probably a year now, like literally probably a year. And what happened was Eli was actually the first person that was telling me about Kingsway.
Eli Brown.
Yes, Eli Brown. He's a producer from Brampton. Definitely check him out. Definitely dope. He actually told me about it. To be honest, I didn't really know what Kingsway was before. I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not know.
Sure.
So he was telling me about like Frank Dukes did it, whatever. I always looked up to Frank Dukes, so I just didn't know about his Kingsway packs. So he was saying like, yo, you should definitely send some stuff to like Frank Dukes and Chris. Like they're definitely like accepting like basically like samples and stuff like that because they're trying to bring people to the team. So then I was like, okay, might as well just send a pack. So I sent a pack, and when I sent a pack, I think another reason why I got in it too was Wonder Girl. She helped me a lot too. I'm pretty sure she was talking to Frank Dukes about me too. So it was kind of like from both ways. It was from sending samples to Chris. He was already in Kingsway, and then of course Wonder Girl talking to me about Frank Dukes, and then from there, it was just like he wants to make a pack.
With the Kingsway stuff, I keep asking just because I have no idea. I know that they exist. I don't know anything else about them. Is it like you send a pack to the Kingsway team and then there's like, cool, this is your pack, put it out? Or is it like you send them, let's say, 100 samples and then they cut them down to like make it perfect for them?
Yeah. So how they work is you could actually do it either way. There's people that sent like 50 samples, and after whoever's coordinating it, I think before it was Brandon. He's another guy in Kingsway. Shouts to him.
Now it's Josh.
Yeah, now it's Josh. Exactly. Josh is running it now. So basically, either way, they did the same thing. So you could either send 50 melodies and he'll choose the best ones, or like for me, I'm like very, very strict on my sound. So like I'm like only sending like perfect stuff, not stuff that I won't like. So like I'll send probably like my pack. I'll literally just send the 15 samples or whatever, and he'll be like, oh, okay, that's all.
Done.
Sick.
Yeah, done. Sick. Release it.
Damn.
And did you find that releasing the packs individually or through Kingsway got you more connections and more like results?
Definitely Kingsway. Definitely Kingsway.
Yeah.
Like everyone was just, when I released my Kingsway, they're just like, oh my gosh, FORTHENIGHT, whatever. Because it's like, my name, first of all, is like, as soon as they seen FORTHENIGHT, they're like, what the hell is this? Like, they're just like, oh, it's just melodies for the nighttime? And it was just like, oh, it's an actual person. So a lot of times people just were wondering, like, who's this guy? So they always check me out, and
Okay, so how old are you right now?
I'm 22.
22.
Yeah.
And you've been making beats for how long?
Like 7, 8.
7 or 8 years, so like 14, 15?
Yeah, around there,
So I have a few follow-up questions, but the first one is, what made you start like making beats in the first place?
I was actually a DJ before. I used to DJ a lot.
So was Nick.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you DJing before you were like before 14, 15, like before you started producing?
Yeah, I was.
Like Nick was about the same age when he was DJing as well.
Wow, that was actually crazy. Yeah, so I was DJing before. I actually forgot to DJ. Like I forgot everything about DJing now. I am gonna pick it up soon, but yeah. I just literally forgot all about DJ. But before I used to DJ, and then one of my boys from high school was just like, yo, you should really, really get into producing. I feel like you'll get bigger. And I was like, I don't know. I really don't know if that's going to work out. And he's just like, yo, just try it. So, like, I just always used to go on YouTube and just do, like, search like how to make beats.
Yeah.
And then the first software I ever had was FL Studio 10, FL10. And then from there, it was just a hobby. I was just making random beats, showing people. I was so confident back then, man. Like, my beats were so trash. It was so
I think everyone.
I was showing everyone my beats. I'm just like, yeah, I just made this beat. They're just like, yo, this is kind of bad.
It's like that meme. It's like that little kid, and it has just like the drum sequencer from FL, and he makes his first.
Yeah,
drum.
exactly.
It's like makes your first drum loop. Yo, sign up to my artist page on Facebook.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing a lot. So I had the confidence from time. Like, I always had the confidence, even though I was bad. Like, I always believed in myself, no matter what. So after then, I was just, I wasn't really releasing music as much. Like, nowadays, people like they'll be like, oh, they'll say like, I just started producing 2 years ago, and they're just seeing them releasing and sending packs out. I wasn't sending packs out till like probably like 5 or 6 years. So like I was just perfecting myself the whole time.
That's good.
Like, so no one really knew who I was in that time. So yeah,
It's hard to be that patient for sure.
oh,
Yeah.
it's definitely.
For
But
sure.
That's a good
honestly,
point.
I regret it because I really don't feel like I used to think about to be big, you had to really have a lot of talent. And that really was not the case. That really was.
What do you
not
think
the
it
case.
takes to be big?
Mostly, obviously, you do have to be good. You do have to, have your hits and whatever. But
Sure.
honestly, knowing people, bro, like knowing people, carrying yourself, like how you carry yourself is really, 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 really important. Like, you can't just walk in a studio session saying like, "Oh, I'm all this, whatever, right?" You definitely have to like be like, yo, like just be humble, be interactive, just yeah.
See, like again, we just talked about this 5th time this has come up. Studio etiquette is so important. Every episode, swear to God, I'm going to say something about this.
Yeah.
But you learned the do's and don'ts of being in a studio. is what you're saying.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We had
100%.
we asked T what his answer was, and he
Yeah.
said, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
What would you say to listeners? What are your studio etiquette tips?
Studio etiquette tips. Okay, first of all, do not be like a fanboy. Like, if you're in a studio session with a big artist, don't be like, yo, I love your shit, whatever. They're just gonna be like, yo, just chill.
Yeah.
Just literally just be calm and just chill out. Like,
Yeah.
they're normal people.
You already got into
exactly
the room,
like you
know?
already got in a room. You're there for a reason. Like, they're put in there for a reason. Like, just chill out. Like, just relax and just be yourself, because you don't want to just bring bad vibes to the room, because I would just mess up the whole session.
Yeah.
I had bad moments in studio sessions that I learned to.
Like, you learned the hard way.
Yeah, I definitely, like, I was in studio sessions and I was awkward. Like, I was sweating. I'm like, eh.
Like, because you were starstruck, or because
Yeah, like, not starstruck. I didn't know what to do. Like, I was just thrown in studio sessions and stuff like that. I was just thrown in rooms and I didn't know what to do. Like,
Right.
and it was like the most awkwardest thing. But then after I learned, like, just be yourself. Like, they're normal people. Like, they don't care. Like, they're just normal people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip. Like, you learned it the hard way. We're
Yeah.
trying to educate people so that they don't have to go through that kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to go through the awkward session.
you will
honestly,
regardless.
No,
Yeah.
honestly, the thing is, you have to go through it to learn. Because if you don't, like, you'll never know how it feels like.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know. Like, you have to be thrown into the wolves. You have to get thrown into the wolves and feel how, how it feels.
Turn
like
the heat up a little.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you had a few sessions where they were a little awkward.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And were they with people that you really looked up to, or what was the situation?
The first one, oh my gosh, was the first big one was with Wonder Girl.
Yeah.
That session was, I don't even know how to explain. That was
It was deadly.
that was a very funny session. So basically what happened was, when I got into a session with Wonder Girl, she had no idea who I was. I don't even know who the hell my name was.
Wait, first, how did you get in?
Yeah, how'd you meet Wonder Girl?
So basically, I went to high school with her cousin, Matt the Eye. That's one of my boys. Basically, he obviously wasn't gonna say, oh, he's a producer, whatever, because obviously she had no interest in me at the time. Like, I was just a random guy.
Yeah.
So at the time, I think he said like, I do like pictures and stuff like that. He'd be like, yo, can I invite my boy to the studio? So I invited my boy to studio. He invited me to the studio, and when I went there, I saw her, whatever. We're just like that. We're just talking, and I told her like, yo, like, I actually make beats. She said, oh, like, can you play some beats for me? I was playing beats and it was actually awful. Like it was the worst, like the worst beats that you could ever think of. And like you can see her expression, like, yo, this is fire. I was like, oh,
deadpan face.
I'm like, oh shoot, okay. So I just play the next one. She's like, yeah, it's fire. I'm like, oh. And then there's times I was just playing beats and she didn't say shit. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that's always a
yeah.
bad
She's
feeling.
like, oh, it's like, okay, you know what? I learned from that studio session, whatever. So ever since then, like, I got contact information, whatever. I was messaging her for years, like years. Just she would not reply at times. She would literally not reply at times.
Mhm.
And then,
But you're persistent.
I was persistent, like, all the way through. Like, she was not answering. Like, there was times, like, she wouldn't answer for months. Sometimes she'll answer. I'll be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Whatever. Just check up on her, you know? I was doing this for years. So it wasn't just like, oh, she just randomly hit me up and be like, oh, like, I want to work with FORTHENIGHT. Like, this was years in the making, bro. Like, years.
So that is, it's so important to be persistent, and we talk about that. But how, like, I'm afraid that when people hear that, they're going to be sending texts every single day.
No.
So what were you doing?
It was definitely, I wasn't sending messages like every day. It was like, what I do is like, usually it'll be at Christmas. I'll be like, Merry Christmas. God bless your family. And of course, she'll respond because it's like, why wouldn't you respond to someone saying, God bless you, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but at times, I would just message her and be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Sometimes, most of the time she didn't respond, but I'll do it like once a month or like every like 5 months or so. It wasn't every day, just so she just remembers me, right?
Yeah, just
and
to
then
check
at the
in.
same time, I was always sending beats to her too, right? She would open them and be like, oh, like, this is dope or whatever. So always just for her to see my name and just always remember my name, because you don't want that person to forget who you are, right?
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
important. Very, very,
exactly.
very
You always want to just let them remember your name, because at some point they're gonna see their name at one point, and then that's how actually it happened. Basically what happened was, I used to work with a guy named Glowman, one of my boys, still my boy to this day. Shouts to him. Basically what happened was, I made a beat for him, and at the time he was working with Wonder Girl. That's one of my favorite beats still to this day. I made a beat for him, and Wonder Girl seen it. She seen it, and then after she followed me, I'm like, oh shit. Like, from there I was like, fuck, like, she actually followed me and I didn't even follow her back. I'm like, oh, like, fuck. So follow her back, and then after, that's when the relationship started. Like, she started messaging me saying like, yo, send me samples, and then
So how old were you at that point?
bro, this is literally a year ago.
Really?
Yeah, this all happened with like a year.
When was that first session when it went really bad and then you started texting her for a long time?
Oh, this was like, I was in like, I'm going to say like 43 years ago.
Okay, so
probably around
takes
there.
time.
Yeah, it takes time. Takes time, bro. It takes time, man.
And then something that maybe the viewers also don't know is that, look at, like, if we compare when you had met her, you were nervous, you played beats that maybe weren't that fire, whatever. You stayed persistent. You did your thing. You weren't just like trying to for all her. You did something with Glowman that led to her. And now recently, the Don Toliver song, you guys co-produced it.
Yeah, exactly, co-produced it. Yeah. So how I even came about was
which Don Toliver song?
Can't Feel My Legs.
Can't Feel My Legs.
Fire. That's on my regular rotation.
But like, isn't that awesome? Like, when you really think about it, like how your relationship with her started.
Yeah.
And a few weeks ago, by the time this podcast, a few months ago, this song came out and it's you guys on the co-production. Don Toliver is one of the hottest upcoming artists.
He's literally one of my favorite artists. So like, when I heard that, honestly, the funny thing is I didn't even know I got the placement.
Until what?
Until it actually like a week or 3 weeks before it dropped.
Oh, that's 3 weeks. 3 weeks is good.
Yeah,
in
but
hip-hop.
apparently the song was made like a year ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
funny
damn.
enough.
That's
like a
jokes.
year ago. But how the song came about was the guy that actually started the process was I sent my first sample pack. It was Moonlight Volume 1 or Moonlight Volume 2. I think forgot which pack it was on. But I sent it to a French producer named Freaky. Sick producer from
Montreal, right?
Yeah, Montreal. So I sent it a semi pack, and then he he basically made the beat, and then he sent it to Wonder Girl, and then from Wonder Girl sent it to Don Toliver went on it, and then Mike Dean. You already know how Mike Dean just does like the post production stuff like that, and then
That's crazy.
yeah.
Damn.
So like that, I think that really is literally like a perfect example of just because the first time you meet someone it goes wrong
doesn't mean they're never going to work with you again,
Oh,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah.
this was like a full topic on one of our episodes.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
We talk about this a lot, that, you know, I feel like I've also made decisions when meeting people that I'll kind of be like, all right, they clearly weren't feeling it. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to like, I won't bug them because they weren't feeling it this first time.
Yeah.
But you should not necessarily bug them, just always keep sending shit because you never gonna know when.
Yeah, you never know what's
ear.
gonna land. Like, you never know what's gonna land, bro.
Or like you said, like you sent it to this other guy, that then sent it to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you never know what you're sending to a certain person, where they're gonna send it to. So it's like, you never like send your stuff to everyone. Don't be like
exactly,
shy.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
everyone,
You never know. Like, you can, and your next,
don't hold out.
Your
just
next sample or next beat you can make can literally change your life. Like, and not a lot of people understand that. Like, bro, I send music to everyone, and like the randomest people would just hit me up, be like, "Yo, you got a placement with this person?" I'm like, "Oh, you got that place?" It's like, "Yeah." So it's like, no matter who you send it to, it's like, just keep sending stuff, right? It's like you're just planting seeds, right? So it's like, yeah.
So how do you, when you do your sample packs, what's your process of, first of all, making them? Like, what do you look for in a dope sample? Like, how do you craft it? And then what's your process for like sending them out? Like, how do you keep track of everything that's going out? And, you know, how do you do a mailing list, or like talk a little bit about, first of all, talk about how you make the pack and then talk about how you get it out to everybody.
So, I have a weird way of doing packs. So I have like a certain way of doing public packs and exclusive packs. So the way how I lay out like exclusive packs is basically like, literally, I'll probably make it like 40 seconds, like 50 seconds or whatever, just a basic loop that just goes straight into it. Because when you're sending it to the big dogs, it's like, bro, they don't want to hear those long intros and stuff like that. Like, they'll just skip it. So when I'm sending stuff to like basically like the big guys or whatever, it's like it goes straight into it. Like, the sample goes straight into it. It'll last for probably like 30 seconds and then whatever. With the public packs, usually my process is like, I basically make it like a composition. Like, literally, you can just listen to the sample like it's just like music, like without even sampling it. The reason why is because it's public, right? Everyone's gonna look at it no matter what. It's not like just that one person's gonna look, like everyone is. So a lot of the times with public packs, I spend the most like doing, like, obviously like I spend a lot of time on that. Like for public pack, like a sample, I'll probably spend like 5 hours or so, bro.
Just on one.
Like, just on one, bro. Just mixing and everything, like
making it perfect.
Just making it like perfect, bro. But like exclusive samples, like, I'll make that just like that and just send it. Yeah,
because then they might come back to you and be like, "Yo, can you switch this up?"
Exactly, switch that up, whatever. Right? I have communication, whatever. With the public packs, it's like, yo, once it's out, it's out.
It's out.
It's out. So it's like, yo, you got to make sure everything's like perfect.
Yeah.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you make all your melodies in FL Studio?
Yeah, FL Studio. I used to use a lot of stuff. I used to use Ableton, Logic, Machine, MPC Renaissance, and then I came back to FL Studio.
What made you go back?
The biggest thing, honestly, the sound of it, man. I don't know, like the sound of FL Studio, like the
everyone
drums,
says,
bro.
Damn.
But the thing is, I feel like Ableton is actually the best software.
Let's
the reason why workflow, man.
Hey man, shut the fuck up. Don't say that with him in the room.
I'm probably gonna get killed for this.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, Ableton was like, when I had Ableton, I used to make beats within like 3 seconds, like samples, beats, whatever. Like,
that's
the workflow is just so, everything's just there. Like,
in Ableton.
Yeah, it's just there. Like, you don't have to open tabs. Like, it's just there. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's really just
so
there.
If you think it's better, why don't you use it? Is it just the sound of the drums?
So the reason why is because of the sound, man.
Yeah.
I had to like, but the thing is too, with Ableton, when you had Ableton back in the day, because I think they changed up their
algorithm.
Algorithm, and it actually sounds better now, apparently.
Yeah.
So back then, like, you had to do a lot of stuff to make your drums like hit, or just mixing. Like, I was sidechaining and stuff like that. So like, when I went to FL Studio and I was sidechaining, like, people in studio sessions would be like, bro, like, why are you sidechaining?
You're doing too much.
Like, you're actually doing too much. Just chill. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I just got used to it. So I already knew how to, fatten up my drums, or, how to, learn how to get like a good mix. So when I went to FL Studio, it was like, bro, my drums were like knocking. Like,
damn,
knocking.
I remember I went to a YouTube HQ thing here in Toronto, and it was Wonder Girl showing one of like the Uzi tracks. I forget which one it was, but
Scott and Ramona.
I don't remember what the name of it was, but she pulled up the project, and someone in the crowd was like, "Yo, how do you make your kicks hit so hard?" And she's like, "Turn it up." She's like, "That's it." She's like, "Just turn it."
But that's
louder.
what she actually does.
Yeah,
but what I've heard is like when you turn it up louder within the sampler in FL, it has like a compression set on, like a limiter that when you turn it up so it doesn't peak, it compresses it perfectly.
Well, so how it works is with the kicks from the FL Studio, you have to have a soft clipper on the actual master channel. So that will basically, if it goes too high, obviously it'll limit it and have to cut off the high frequencies that's not supposed to hit. So basically, how I do it, usually I do a lot when I do my kicks, but usually what people do is like turn it up, and then after there's it's like a preamp. It's like it's an amp within the actual sampler that you just turn up, and then that's how usually people do it. And then this is a gem right here, offsetting everything. So if you offset your hi-hats, offset your perks or whatever, and offset the sample and bass, when the kick hits, basically it's like it has its own space.
It's not competing with the other transients.
Yeah, exactly. It's not competing with all the transients. It's like it's in its own zone. It's like when it hits, it's like in its own like a layer. So that's why I do a lot too. So
Does FL have like I know in Ableton you can actually shift ticks. So on the right, like you don't have to shift everything in the arrangement. It's just like on that channel.
And in the FL Studio, like the wave manipulator, when you click on a sound, if you go over to the settings tab, there's a knob called offset.
Exactly.
But there's also before they renamed it for FL20. They used to be called an FL11. I think it was what was it? Shift.
It was shift before, and now it's offset.
So I think it used to shift. Are we sure about that?
I think it's shift. Yeah,
there's a little knob called shift that it'll offset. Like if you do it a little bit, it'll slightly push it. But nothing discernible. Like it won't show.
Exactly. It won't make it. Exactly. It won't even make it sound like it's offbeat. It's just like it'll just do like a little shift. Just a slight shift.
Yeah. And it won't show it in like the step sequencer. Like it won't move it.
Yeah, exactly.
It just hits differently in the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you make a sample, like how important for you is like having a sample with rhythm or having like the textures of the sample or the melodic? Like what's important for you when you make a For the Night sample, or like when you hear other people's samples? Like what do you listen for?
The first thing I listen to for me is that if the melody's not good, I'm not listening to it. Like honestly, like for me, like first key is like the melody. Like back then, like there really wasn't any textures. You know what I'm trying to say? Like when you listen to a lot of music, it was just usually just the melody. The melody's catchy, it stays in your head. And so the first thing I used to do was like I used to do just like melody, just straight melody. Now obviously like I started incorporating more textures and stuff, adding like weird stuff in the background, and just to like basically make the sample more interesting and stuff like that. But for me, what makes my sound interesting is that I like the mix is like really the mix, not really the textures, but the mix. Like I like to add like weird shit in the background, like a laser just going like in the back, like
fire though,
or like
stuff that makes it sound like it's not just a loop.
Exactly, it's not just a loop. Like I'll never just do like a straight just a random loop. Like I'll make it basically stand out on its own, right? So if it's literally just one melody, like one sound, the mix is gonna basically bring it out to make it sound like like this is one melody and one sound, but it's like whoa, like it sounds amazing, right? So like you can do a lot just by the mix.
So how many placements do you have as a producer? Are you like, do you have quite a bit, or is this?
I actually have quite a few. Like I have probably like 5 or 6 so far, and it's been like a year. In
terms of major artists, is it just the Don Toliver one?
Don Toliver, Killy. I did half a ticket with Money Music. Shout out to him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another one was actually with iCast Boy called it's a freestyle with Leto. He's basically from France. So yeah, basically around like 3 major like label placements. So
how how have you seen your workflow or your production, or like how have things changed after, like the Don Toliver one is probably the biggest thing in North America.
Yes, it's like the biggest, like, yeah.
So
definitely.
how have things changed after that come out? Like, what's your plan now that that's out? Like, how are you gonna keep that momentum kind of going? Like, do you have a plan for that?
Yeah, definitely have a plan. Right now, actually, it was in like the perfect situation for me right now, because I literally just quit my job.
Hey.
Yeah, literally just quit my job.
Congrats.
So I'm actually doing this full time right now.
Nice, congrats.
I used to work at Brown's.
Like
shoe
photography?
store.
Oh, the shoe store?
Yeah, shoe store. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Black's photography.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus.
no. Yeah, I used to work at Brown's. So basically, at the time, it was like I was going to work and after doing samples or whatever, and then beats or whatever. So like now it's like getting sessions, man. Like right now, I'm really trying to get in sessions a lot now. Before, it was really just working towards myself, but collabing is like the key to really, really getting out there.
Right.
Like
We just talked about that.
Yeah, exactly. Working with other people. Especially if you're working with other people too, you get to see like their workflow, and then you get to incorporate it with yours, right?
Yep.
So that's like a really, really big thing. And a lot of the times it's like, yo, it's gonna sound weird, but it's like me going in sessions with like someone that's way better than me. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like, yo,
You get to learn so
like,
much.
you get to learn
Yeah.
so much, and at the same time, it's like it kind of makes you go harder.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, it's inspiring. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, like this guy's hard. Like I need to go back and just make 50 samples and just like get to his level. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like you don't want to be in a session with like, I'm not saying like you don't want to be in a session with someone that's not better than you, but it's it's just beneficial, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Did you find it? Sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Did you find that work-life balance hard? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
was it super stressful and like you're just like, fuck, can't
Bro,
find time for shit?
But honestly, it's the worst thing that I ever went through, and it honestly messed me up now because I did not sleep. Like I was getting like 3 hours of sleep, bro, and it messed me up
Shit.
so bad, bro. Like it messed me up bad. Like I used to suffer from like headaches, from fatigue. Like I was always tired 24/7,
Right.
and I'm still like recovering from that now. So basically, like I'll make a sample. I'll make like 1 or 2 samples, and like literally I'll fall asleep. Like
Is
was
it
bad.
now? Is it like, do you find yourself being way more creative and like you're enjoying working on music more because you're not thinking of having to go to work?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not thinking of music, work and stuff like that. So it's like I'm strictly focused on that. But how it works is like once you quit your job, it's not like all your problems go away. You
course.
still have problems that get added onto it. So it's like I thought, right away, I'll quit my job, everything's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's
Yeah.
like you still have a bunch of stress. You still have
Then
this.
it's like, shit, where's the next paycheck
It's
coming
like, yo, it's like,
from?
when's the next paycheck? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, am I having a paycheck like every single like 2 weeks? It's like you actually have to like, if you don't make music, bro, you're not gonna survive. It's like you have to like,
You have
make
to-
music.
it's up to you. Yeah.
Like even if you have to force it, bro, it's like sometimes you have to force it, man. Like
Yeah.
that's how it is. Yeah.
When you quit your job,
Yeah.
and when you actually decided that you wanted to be a producer, first of all, who do you live by yourself right now?
No, I actually live with my mom. Yeah.
Your
My
mom?
parent- Yeah, my mom.
Okay, so has she been supportive of you quitting your job and all that kind of thing?
Hell no.
Really?
Africans, man, no.
So how do you as a producer like kind of navigate through, your mom saying don't do this, that in your heart this is what you want to do. I'm sure a lot of our listeners struggle with
Oh,
that.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So, before I was I was actually an HVAC technician.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to fix furnaces and stuff like that.
It's like so random.
Yeah, it's like the randomest thing. Like everyone's like, "The heck, you an HVAC technician?" Yeah.
That's cool though.
So yeah, I used to do it for like a year and a half. And my mom like really forced me to go to school. She's like, "Bro, if you don't go to school, like yo,
High school, you mean?
No,
Or
like college and stuff like
right.
that."
What college did you go to?
I went to like a trades college. I went
Okay.
to like Seneca, and
Cool.
then I went to sorry, not Seneca, Sheridan.
Right.
And then after I went to like a trade school and then like Highmark just for like HVAC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
did
yeah,
you finish at Seneca or at Sheridan though?
No, I actually dropped out.
Okay.
I went for like engineering.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Interesting.
I was like all over the place, man.
Okay, but you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I really wanted to do music, but it's like that's in everyone's head, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I want to do music, but
That's
it's
the
like,
big
Something
dream.
realistic.
It's like you have to be realistic at times, right? But at the same time, it's like I really, really felt that like, yo, you can literally be anything you want to, bro.
Facts.
Anything you want to. You just have to like
Work hard.
takes work hard and patience.
Yeah.
So at the time it was like I was in school, and I was doing beats at the time, and I always told my mom like I'm doing music. She'll be like, yeah, you're not making a living off music, just stick to school. Then after, obviously, when I start to, you know, work with more people, I start to show her. I start to actually make money off music. It was like, oh, this guy is making money off music. Like, oh, like, okay, I should really, you know, take this seriously, whatever.
Sure.
So over time, like, yeah, she just really started to, you know, just say like, oh, like, you basically have to show your parents. That's basically the key.
Prove
like,
to them.
You have to show them proof. Like, if you just tell your parents, oh, I'm gonna be an astronaut, like, okay, they're gonna be like, bro, like,
where's the proof?
Yeah, where's the proof? Like, you can't just say that.
Put the
Like,
work
you have to actually show them, you know, you're working, whatever. So now, obviously, my mom sees that, okay, like, he's definitely going places. He's definitely, music is his life, because I showed her it, right? I showed her the placements. I showed her who I'm working with. I showed that, hey, I'm making money. I can live off this. And then that's how she actually really said, like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna support you.
So was it hard for you to like? Was it hard for you to be at home when you would be making music and you know that your mom is sitting there like, fuck this kid, like? Did that impact your creative process?
Yeah, it impacted it really bad, because it was like, oh my gosh, I'm making music right now, but was my mom really gonna support me? I feel like having a support system is really important.
Yes,
like, it's really important.
It's pretty rare that someone has very supportive parents.
Just from the jump, like when you're like, I'm gonna be a producer.
Yeah, exactly. But at the time, it's like, them not really being supportive, it does have an effect on you, because it's like, it's kind of like a negative impact, right? You really want to be surrounded by like positivity and stuff like that. So if someone's not really supporting you, it's like, oh. So at the time, it's like, you know, I had my friends supporting me. I had my sisters, you know, supporting me, always saying like, yo, like, you're actually good at this. So it wasn't really, no one was supporting me at the time, right? So I still had that support system.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good, because I know for sure a lot of young people hit me up on like I don't know, like, I'm in school, my dad doesn't want me to do this, I still want to do this, what do I do?
There's no excuses, bro. There's no excuses. Like, I was working, when I was in HVAC, I was working like 12-hour days, man, like 12-hour days, shifts. I was tired. I used to come home and just make music. Just literally make music. I'm like, yo, I need to make this work, even though I'm doing this. So it's like, there's no excuses, bro. There's no excuses.
I've been producing for roughly, like, not professionally, obviously, but since the day I started, it's been around 10 years now.
Yeah.
And only, like, last year was my dad like,
exactly.
all right, I guess you're doing this.
Yeah.
Because, like, for the whole time, it was always like, yeah, it must be fun. Like, sure, you're making a couple bucks here and there, but, like, what's that plan B?
Yeah, it's like, what's that plan B? It's like, another thing, too, is that, I don't believe in plan Bs.
No, there's no such thing.
There's no such thing as plan B.
There's no room for plan B.
So I read this somewhere. I think it was an interview or in a book. It was just like, when you have a plan B, you're focused.
It's Will Smith.
It was Will Smith. Yeah. So when you have a plan B, you're always focusing on the plan. Like, you're not really focusing all your energy on that plan A. It's like
you're too worried.
Yeah, it's
you're
like,
too worried.
It's like you're too worried. It's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, what happens if this doesn't work? And if you put that into your head, like, when you put stuff into your head, like saying, oh, this might not work, it's not gonna work. If you put in your head every day, hey, this is gonna work, I'm gonna get this placement, whatever. Just because you don't get that placement doesn't mean you're not gonna get another placement that's better than that. You know what I'm trying to say? So there's times where I send beats to people and it was like, oh man, like, they didn't like it, whatever. And then it turns out I actually got a bigger placement than the beats I sent to that person.
So you're previously. Like, shit, good thing they didn't take it.
So it's like, good thing they didn't take it, so man, I don't care.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Exactly, yeah.
That's crazy. At this point, when this episode gets released, we'll be a few months into 2020.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, and then when you listen to this, you're going to listen to it back. But what are your goals for this year? And what do you like? What are you hoping to accomplish before the end of the year?
Okay, the first goal is I'm actually battling like a disorder right now, or disease or whatever, it's called basically like chronic fatigue syndrome, and that's basically like the first thing. It's like without me fixing that, I won't be able to fix go through all my other goals, because I'm always tired. Healthy. Exactly, get healthy first. Health is like the main priority.
Health is wealth.
Yeah. Bro, if your head's not right, you're not making good music.
Yeah,
like, you're definitely not making.
I didn't know that you were going through that.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that you get through that.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna get through it.
Good,
definitely get through that. So that's basically like my first goal.
That's good. Mental health is so important.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, definitely. Other than that, but I have a lot of goals. I have like a whole entire whiteboard just like filled with goals, man.
Do you think that keeping a whiteboard helps keep you focused?
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's right beside my bed. So when I wake up, I just see it and it's like all my goals are there, like just right in front of my face.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm manifesting it every single time, right?
Really good.
So how you manifest is like you keep saying it in your head, you wake up, you see it. I actually have like a big in writing, like a big thing in writing that says I am successful. So every time when you wake up in the morning and it's like you're feeling bad, it's like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm not really getting placements, these upcoming months. It's like you just keep looking at it and say, oh, I'm successful. You putting that positivity in your head.
That's really
to make
good.
you, work harder. Yeah.
That's really, really good. Any placements you're excited about coming up? Anything you can speak on?
Nothing I can speak on, but I do have a lot of stuff dropping. Like a lot of stuff dropping.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of stuff dropping. But 2020, I'm definitely gonna start to get more beats out. Cause the sample game was really, for me to get in the door. That was my whole entire plan. Like I literally planned this whole entire thing. So how it worked was before was beats was very oversaturated before. It was really oversaturated. Everyone was doing beats. No one was doing anything different. And it was like, if I did it, like my beats were really different. But it's like, if you show different beats to artists, not really every artist is going to go on like a beat that's like, oh, this is like different. A lot of the times it was like samples. So samples weren't really oversaturated, but it was like the first thing that like everyone was talking about at the time when I was like coming in the industry, right?
Right.
So for me, my plan was like get big in samples, make everyone know my name, whatever. And then when I'm in studio sessions with artists and stuff like that, with producers, an artist will be in the room and I'll be like, hey, like I make beats too. He was like, oh, really? So at the time, it's like you can really like basically like show them like, oh, like I don't really only make samples,
right.
I make beats and everything else. Yeah.
That's a good way of doing it. So that's what your goals are for 2020.
Yeah, more beats.
More beats.
Definitely in the future. I'm definitely gonna fade away from the samples and just actually get into more like actually make records, actually be more sessions with artists and stuff like that.
Making a record.
Like make more records. Like I don't know, my thing of like a record is like it's like being there throughout the whole process, not just sending a sample. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I have like bigger goals for it. Not that saying like samples is bad or whatever. Just
but I see what you mean.
Just
being
for
you got your foot in the door.
Yeah, exactly. I got my foot in the door. Samples. Got my foot in the door. Or whatever. You have to do something to get your foot in the door. Whatever you can do, right? Yep. You have to put your pride away if it's doing whatever, right? Yeah. It's like YouTube. If you're doing YouTube to get your foot in the door. Yeah. If you're being
someone's bitch.
Oh, it's like when you when you want to be an engineer, you start off as the fucking guy who cleans the toilets at the studio.
Exactly. You do the runs for all the artists.
Not to say that Megan Samples is the guy cleaning the toilets, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Everyone starts somewhere. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. It's nothing wrong with that. It's like, yo, whatever you're doing to get your foot in the door, bro, like just get your foot in the door, bro. But if you have to have a bigger plan, like you just can't be, oh, I'm gonna make samples for the rest of my life. There's people like that, and that's on them. But like for me, it's like I definitely don't see in 5 or 10 years, I don't see myself making samples. Like I see myself in studio sessions with like artists, writing songs, and actually like making beats or whatever. Yeah.
Incredible.
Are you working mainly out of Toronto, or do you do trips out to anywhere like Atlanta or LA or whatever?
Yeah, recently I've been doing a lot of trips out to like New York. I've been working with a up and coming artist named Justin Rari. So like we have a lot of stuff on the way soon. Then after I usually go to LA a lot too. Yeah. Good. So I work like in between. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, this is gonna be a good year for you. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Anyways, Nick, do you have any more questions?
I don't know.
We'll take a little look into your head. Do you have anything?
I don't think so.
No, I think we covered quite a bit, and I think a lot of the younger producers are really gonna like this episode because I think you're young. We're pretty much the same age, but
we're all the same age.
All the same age, but
we're all the same age. But you're really coming up with these young guys, and you work with a lot of them, and I think a lot of the stuff you talked about today is very important for them to listen to, and for anybody that is doing samples or beats and all that. I think it's you have a really nice story, and I think it's only up from here for you, my man. So thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, where can they find you?
You can find me on my social media, For the Night Music. Instagram is For the Night Music. That's pretty much what
Twitter's the same?
Yeah, Twitter is actually _FORTHENIGHT. So FORTHENIGHT. And then, yeah, you can find me on there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks for
Everyone
coming on the
go
show.
follow him. Hit him up for samples. He probably will never send you anything because he's super Hollywood now, as you can tell.
I'm not Hollywood.
He's Mr. Hollywood now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But go buy his sample packs. They're really, really good. I've used them.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Anyways, that was episode 19.
19.
Thank you for coming by and listening to us week after week. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I guess we'll see you next week.